Hi there, welcome to a quick video introducing you to the path tracer within D5 Render. Now what I'm doing here is showcasing a real world project. This is a live project that we're working on now. We are working in collaboration with an amazing practice called 563 Architects based in Edinburgh. They are the architects on the project and we're actually helping them with the visualizations. They've sent over the Revit model. We've actually used the SketchUp importer to just give us a little bit more flexibility. Personally, I prefer SketchUp as the base point when it comes to visuals. Argue amongst yourselves about that in the comments. So we converted it into SketchUp, built all the context, that sort of stuff. And here we are in D5 Render. And the release of the path tracer has come at an amazing time, because we're now in the final stages of the project and you wouldn't believe the work that's gone into this. Like all the interiors are all done, like the bar, restaurants, all that sort of stuff. I've got everything turned on, by the way. That's why it's going a little bit slow. It's absolutely amazing project to be a part of. And yeah, I can't believe the timing. The path tracers come out as we're in the final production. I want to show you how to set it up, how to render it out, and then I've got a couple of images prepared in Photoshop to just show you the difference. So we go up here to our little burger menu, preference, we go down to rendering here and we turn it on. Now it actually gives you a bit of a live preview straight away. Look at the reflectance in the glass up there. Look at that. So much better. Now, you could argue it's probably a little over reflective in some areas. So with it turned on, you would then probably select the glass and just turn down, maybe turn the specular down to a 0.5. And then you can see there that it just levels that out. So it's as simple as that. Preference, rendering, and turn the path tracer on. Now you've got to remember that when you render now with that turned on, it's always rendering a path traced image. You need to, if you want to go back to ray trace mode, you just flick that off and then render away. Now what I would say is it doesn't feel like it's fully resolved yet. Notice that it says alpha version there. It doesn't quite feel fully resolved. The path tracer in like a Twinmotion and Unreal Engine, they're really advanced. They get really close to like a V-Ray and a Corona. Although I would argue not quite there. I still would say they're the bad boys when it comes to like absolute quality. But what I would say is D5 Render was the right piece of kit for this project, mainly to do with scale. All the animation, like look at the beautiful, the cars going past. You got a little surveyor over here. D5 has handled the scale of this project like no other piece of equipment, and we've been able to keep up with the design changes from the architect. By the way, that's so important to factor in. We've kept up with changes. Love the way we've got all these scenes and all that sort of stuff. Honestly, it's been absolutely incredible. So I'm not knocking it by any means. We're using this for a commercial project. But yeah, sorry, back to my point on path tracer. I think the guys at D5 have got maybe another release coming. I don't know that, I'm just saying, like I feel like there's another version that'll just make it that little bit more, closer to like an offline render of a V-Ray and Corona. That's the point I'm making. Anyway, it's still very good. You turn it on, and then to change the settings, you go to display. And for me personally, to get the absolute most out of it, I just crank all the sliders to the right. You've got GI precision, that's the global illumination, reflection depth, and then samples. So just crank them up. I think you can even bump the samples. So the slider takes you to 256, and then you'd go like 512, 1024, I think, and so on, but that's probably overkill. 256 is absolutely fine. So that's it really. Preference, turn it on. Display, there's your settings. I would just, for now, just crank them up full hit. So that's how you set it up. To show you the difference, I've took two visuals probably turn the path trace ones off first. I've took two visuals from the project, both rendered at 4K. For what it's worth, it was a couple of minutes on ray trace mode, the normal mode, and it was about 10 minutes on path tracer with the settings I just showed you, 33256. For me, 10 minutes is still great. Your offline renderers would take longer than that for this sort of complex scene, if you like, and size of project and whatever. So the reason we're in Photoshop is it's a nice way of just, if I just turn, so that's path tracer on, off, on, off. Now, instinctively, there isn't loads to sort of go on. So what I want to do is, with it on, I want to show some areas. So with it on there, look at the reflection of the books there. Look the way it's a little bit wishy-washy in ray tracing, but in the path tracer, it's so much better. And the big one that real-time renderers struggle with is contact shadows. If we go down here, it just looks that bit more realistic. However, a little shortcoming for you. I don't know whether it comes across so well here, but the reflection of cars, like car paint, I've noticed that it struggles a little bit with that. It could be my fault. I might need to mess with some settings. But what I've found is that as it stands today, there's merit in rendering both and actually using portions of each. A good example in this image is this desk. I think it's too reflective now, the desk, and we're getting an awful kind of contact between the pencil holder there, like the little bin, and the desk. That is so fake. Whereas in ray trace mode, I think it handles it a lot better. So what I would do is I would apply a mask, and then I'll just use a brush. You're better using a lasso tool, but then you could just mask that bit out of the path trace render. Look at that. So you're actually getting the best of both worlds. As I say, I suspect there's more to come. The way D5 roll updates out is unbelievable. So I would suspect that when they bring out, like, because it's an alpha version at the minute, I think when they bring out the fully fledged path tracer, I think it'll be tons better. But what I would say is it is hands down better now. Reflections down there are clear. But then if we go up here to the soffit, it was struggling with just that little bit of bounced light, the reflection of the ductwork, and again, just that general interaction with light and shadow in the soffit. It looks so much better with the path tracer turned on. Like, look at the ducting there feels more metallic. See the way there? It looks a bit dull, looks a bit matte in ray trace. In path tracer, you've got that much clearer distinction between the concrete soffit and the ductwork. So much better. So any other little refinements like this, I would just mask out path tracer and then just use a black brush to then remove elements like that. You use a mask because it's what's called non-destructive. If you just rubbed it out, you couldn't go back and, like, see the way I've got a bit heavy-handed with the chair. We go back to the brush, white colouring, and then we can just build that back in there. Happy days. Okay, so before I get to that next layer, I want to show you this one. This image it's been really difficult. It's still miles off, by the way. Don't give me too much stick for this one. This still needs a bit more work. But I was struggling because it relies like 95% on artificial light. And in real-time renderers, I find anyway that they do struggle a little bit with, largely artificially lit scenes. One key thing is this brushed metal here for the lift. It was just that, the joint, the joint, if you like, between the frame and the door, it was just really frustrating me. If I turn the path tracer on now, look at that. Look how clean that edge is. Look at that. If I just zoom in, look at that difference. That's on and that's off. Also what it's done is, look at the light difference. Look how much brighter and cleaner. Look at all these splodges here. Path tracer turned on, boom, cleans it all up. Absolutely brilliant. We are getting some artifacts here, and that's just my fault. I need to bring more light sources in, and it will get rid of all those like noisy artifacts. There's a little bit you can do in Photoshop as well. But for me, that was the biggest difference. It's brighter. The junctions between materials are a lot cleaner. Look at that. Even like just that little bit of sheen on the floor. I need to improve my bump map on that, but the sheen on the floor, so much better. Lovely. So back to this one. If I delete the mask, I was complaining of this contact shadow there, or lack of it. A little pro tip for you. There is a setting in effect called AO, ambient occlusion. And what this does is it absolutely nails your contact shadows. It puts detail in crevices, basically. And like, I mean, I like the way it's animated as well. So you can see there, this guy's like armpits there, it's darker than the stuff that's on show. You can see here, we've got all that detail. You can also play with the radius, because if you go like 300, it darkens everything off. You want to work to like a 50, and then it just gives you that detail. You can then also overlay it, and then it is there. It's not as easy to see. But if I just turn that off and turn it back on, it's not as easy to see on exteriors. But that's the little trick anyway. You turn it on, set the radius to around the 50 mark. You don't want to go too high. 100 isn't bad there, but 50, turn the overlay on. You could render it like that, but the better way to do it is to render it as a channel here, ambient occlusion. When you render that as a channel, you get it as a separate layer like so. You then hit multiply. Oh, sorry, wrong one. We change the blend mode to multiply, and then you can see it's still incredibly harsh. So what I like to do is go into levels and just move the slider over, and it just starts to give you what you need really. And you can see now it's given us that contact shadow. Still a little bit harsh, maybe just reduce the opacity, but you can see that the level of detail that adds to it as well. I even like the way it brings a little bit of detail back into the light fitting there. And same again, anything you're not happy with, mask it out. So that's the Path Tracer tool. I think it's brilliant as it is. I think it is a good addition. It's definitely improved the images, but I do think there's a little ways to go. And I'm really excited for these future updates as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. Anything else, pop us a little question in the comments. And as always, please like, share the video, all that good stuff, just so the algorithm notices it. And if you've got any queries about ArchAdemia, our main platform, drop me an email at adam@archademia.com.